So here's a question posed by a friend of mine, Sheba. Shout out. How much moss would you need to offset the oxygen consumption of one adult human? So adult human uses 250 to 300 grams of oxygen daily. So moss produces 10 to 40 grams of oxygen per square meter per day. So you would need 17 to 20 square meters of moss for one adult. That's about 200 square feet. So I guess if you have 24 hours of light, that would double the production. So you'd only need 100 square feet per person. So that's not too bad. I guess this doesn't include night right here. 25 to 40 square meters per person. That's crazy. That's nuts. So I asked the follow-up question, what's the best plant per square meter for generating oxygen? Microalgae, 10 to 20 times more efficient than terrestrial plants, can produce 400 to 600 grams of oxygen per square meter per day. So that's 2 adults right here per square meter. That's much, much better than moss. So we're definitely, if we wanted to go down this path, we would definitely go with algae. But you would imagine whole farms of algae. And this is per square meter, so you could layer up the algae. The only problem is the lights would create lots of heat, and then you need to get rid of that heat. And how are you going to get rid of that? The only way to get rid of that heat is by throwing it out of the city with air. Or you could heat the city with the lights in the wintertime. If it was an Arctic city, you could heat the city with the lights. So I don't think the city is going to need a lot of extra heating, though, because it's so thermally efficient. I guess if you really needed a heat source and you wanted to generate your own oxygen, you could make oxygen farms pretty easily. So here's some other species right here. Pretty cool. 3 to 6 meters for bamboo. Half of a square meter for optimized microalgae culture. 10 to 15 for typical houseplants. So this is why algae bioreactors are being explored for space missions in sealed environments. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, I guess I could make one of these just for fun. See how many square meters I can get per hexagon. And kind of estimate the electricity use for the lights. And if I have to match the sun for all of this algae, that's going to be so much electricity and it's going to be so much heat. It's going to be a nightmare. I think that'll be my follow-up question is what's our watts per square meter that we would generally need for the microalgae? I'll do that right now. So we'll see what he says here. Depend on the species and growth goals, but these are maximum numbers. What is this? U-mol? What the hell is this? How is this? Isn't light intensity. Converting to watts per square meter. Okay, here we go. What? Photosynthetically active radiation? Just tell me watts. Here we go. Okay, 30 to 50 minimum. That's survival level. This is better. The sun is over 1,000, so this is better. 100 to 200 watts per square meter. I would probably go with 100 watts per square meter just for heat and electricity concerns. Let's see if this isn't too bad. This is better than I would have than my nightmare scenario. We want to get this number as low as possible, obviously. Anyway, that's it for this one. You'll see a follow-up video probably coming in a couple of days. And remember, a single algae farm is more powerful than 1,000 humans breathing oxygen. Okay, this was really interesting me. So I made a hexagon. Look at how many layers this has. Each one of these boxes is 16 square meters of algae. The depth wouldn't be very much, I would imagine, because the light penetration only goes, what, 6 inches maybe? So you wouldn't need that much water. They wouldn't be too heavy. So yeah, this would be extra area, extra room for like staircases, obviously, and electrical components, I suppose, and like humidifiers. This place is going to get very humid, which is very bad for the steel, obviously. So I don't know how the hell we're going to get the humidity under control and the heat. So the heat and the humidity is going to be crazy in here. So we have 34 times 16 times 8. We have 4,352 square meters of algae. Doing the math from the previous Claude calculations, that's 4,400 to 8,800 people. We'll say 6,000, a nice round number because it's my favorite. Needs 100 to 200 watts per square meter, which is 450 kilowatts to 900 kilowatts per hexagon. A 180,000 person ark would need 30 of these hexagons to supply oxygen to all of the people. So you're looking at 14 to 28 megawatts for the whole ark for oxygen supply. So this would be really nice in the winter because you wouldn't need that cool winter air to supply fresh oxygen. You could get oxygen from internally. And then the thing is, this would be so hot. 900 kilowatts in a single hexagon. What do you do with all of that heat? That's incredible. 900 kilowatts. I have no idea how you manage that heat. You'd have to pipe all of that air, just have constant airflow, just huge airflow going through this hexagon. Not only to bring in all that, to circulate the oxygen, but also to circulate the humidity and the heat. And then when all that humidity gets into the ark, I think that might cause some problems with rust. I mean, we don't want like 90% humidity in the ark. That'd be crazy. So you would need like another hexagon just for like air dehumidifiers or something. But this is definitely enough to heat the ark. So we could heat the ark, we could supply oxygen, and then we could do one third thing with the actual, we could like create biodiesel with the algae, something like that. So that's a 3 for 3. That's a win-win-win. The only problem is this much power. That's the only downside. I guess the heat, if you're talking about like the Arctic, it depends on where the ark is. If you're in the Arctic, this would be useful. All this electricity usage would be useful because you're heating the ark. But, yeah, something to think about. This is really cool. This is a really cool thought experiment. I haven't thought about this before today when my friend mentioned it. So this is like the best mass production we can do. And only 30 hexagons for a full ark to supply all of the oxygen. That's pretty cool. So remember, a single hexagon supplies more oxygen than 6,000 people. So here's some updated Claude numbers. We have wholesale solar at 5 cents per kilowatt hour, this is an earlier Claude calculation. So now we have $15 per capita per year. So this is $2.7 million per year in electricity per capita. We have our net result, our revenue. This is 6 months of algae production is $5 million a year revenue. Electricity costs 2.7. We have our net profit 1.2 million a year. So we're actually profiting about $10. We're profiting $7 a year per person to heat the ark and supply oxygen 6 months out of the year. So it provides free oxygen and free heat within the system. Amazing. This is amazing. And then you can add some carbon credits. Why not? And I don't even know what this is. Astaxanthin. Never heard of it. So, yes, with a 5 cent kilowatt hour wholesale solar, this shifts from necessary infrastructure costs to profitable social enterprise. amazing. I mean, this $7 a year, we would probably just reinvest it into the development council or something. Yeah, so the math works beautifully. Would you be building your own dedicated solar farm? Yeah, maybe not. I'm not sure. It depends how much capital we can raise. So it gives me some estimates for the solar array, how much it would cost. And then we would have full energy independence if the solar array pays for itself. That'd be pretty nice. I mean, that would be pretty cool. We would need to get some desert land, though, and then somehow get the transmission lines, too, from the desert to the Ark. And the Ark would be, like, in the Arctic or somewhere else. I'm in New York State. It gets pretty cold in the winter, so this sounds beautiful. Heat the whole Ark for $7 a year profit per person. Sounds like a brilliant idea. Thanks, Claude. Claude was really helpful with all of this. He's gotten pretty bright. He's gotten pretty smart. I'll link the Claude conversation in the video description. You could read it all yourself. And remember, a single O2 generation scheme is more powerful than 1,000 natural gas heaters.